And my tool for that became my 97-year-old rule, which is from Rewire Your Mindset, my second book. What would I regret on my 97-year-old deathbed not doing? And this is interesting because the answer for this changes depending on what stage of life I'm at. And I will look at a race, I will look at a challenge, I will look at something external, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that. And then I ask, okay, is this going to cost me too much peace in the short or the long term? And is this going to be too expensive of a price to pay with my energy, my resources, my time, my etc.? But sometimes I'll ask the question and go, oh, fuck, I would really regret not doing that. And Marathon des Sables, the 6 back-to-back marathons in the Sahara Desert, and then running 230 kilometers through the Arctic the year later, 2018, and then into 2019 for the Sahara and the Arctic. Both of those were 97-year-old deathbed decisions. They were both decisions, and I'm like, I would love to do something that physically difficult. And I need to create more capacity in my life so I can do that. Ali, my daughter, was very young at the time. I was single at the time. My business was doing very well. I was able to bring in staff who could work with clients, and I was able to put things back onto a minimum effective dose. So I had the capacity to do this extreme challenge. But when I ran the 100-mile ultra marathon, the Jackpot 100 in Nevada in 2020, I've spoken about this in Rewriting Your Story, the last book, that I got to that finish line and I was sore because 100 miles is a long distance to run for anybody. It took me 26 and a half hours. And I was sore. My knees were sore. My body wasn't working too well because you're dehydrated and you're tired and you're hungry and you're in pain, your joints, your ligaments, your muscles, everything. And 2 days later, I'd recovered from that. I remember walking around Las Vegas. My mother was with me. Holly was with me. And I was walking around Las Vegas and I go, oh, I didn't get an awful lot from that race. I came back from the Sahara and I felt like I'd burst through all these self-limiting beliefs. I came back from the Arctic, 86 kilometers of which I finished on a torn Achilles, and I felt like my relationship with pain had completely flipped and changed. And I did the 100-mile ultramarathon, and I thought, I didn't get much from that. Do you know what? I probably need to go do 200 miles. That was the problem. And it wasn't until I was speaking with my friend Niall, who asked, okay, what's the 200 miler going to give you that the 100 miler didn't? And I couldn't answer him. I thought, oh, okay, my ambition now has got out of control here. And I'm now going to be paying a bigger price in terms of saying no to other opportunities because I need to train, saying no to family time and other things that are important to me because I need to do my miles and get my miles in for a 200 miler. And then I forward projected and thought, okay, how am I going to feel at the end of a 200 mile race? And I thought, I'm probably just going to feel the same. And then it's going to go to a 300 mile and then it's just going to keep going. And it's called in economics, the law of diminishing returns. And there's a point where something becomes too excessive and too extreme that you've stopped getting the benefit. And the example I gave in the book was it's like drinking a cup of water when you're extremely thirsty. If you're walking through the Sahara, for example, or just really hot day, and you're so thirsty, your mouth is dry, you feel dehydrated, you have a glass of water, and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Best thing I've ever had in my mouth ever. I won't go any further on that. Drink, liquid in your mouth. Best thing you've ever had. The second cup feels good, but not as good as the first. And then by the 10th, you're probably starting to feel a little bit sick. That's where there's a point of diminishing returns. What now felt amazing at 1 cup feels a bit sickly at 10. And fitness is very easy to default into this. And where you'll go, I need to go more extreme. I've done 5 days in the gym, I need to go to 6. I've done 6, I need to go to 7. I've cut my calories to 1500, I need to go to 14, I need to go to 13, I need to go to 12. And you keep changing things to the point of diminishing returns where it actually starts to inversely correlate out the other side with the negative response. And that happens with training, people's excessive cortisol levels, metabolic slowdown from going too extreme with their nutritional and calorie cut, all the way up to me and a 100 miler wanting to go into a 200 miler. And now I start to filter things through, right, is my ambition running away with me for this goal I want? Who am I doing this for? Which is really important. On that solo episode where I spoke about the marathon in Marrakesh and my reason for doing it, something that has evolved and changed for me, and again, I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole on this because it might be different for you, is most of my decisions now are coming internally.